Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by MacVoices Magazine, our free Flipboard magazine that brings you some of the best Mac, iPhone, and iPad productivity tips on the web. High in signal, low in noise, just like MacVoices, MacVoices Magazine includes information on how you can get more out of your Apple technology. Subscribe at macvoices.com/magazine or search for MacVoices Magazine on Flipboard. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're back from vacation, and we're back with another Take Control author with another new Take Control book or an update to a Take Control book, depending on how you look at it. Mr. Michael Cohen is here. Michael, it's great to have you.
Great to be here, Chuck.
It's always good to talk to you, and it's always even better when we have a new book to talk about. This time, this time we're talking about Take Control of PDFpen 9. And what makes this particularly different, other than just PDFpen 9, of course, is the fact that this edition is free.
That's right.
I'm excited, Michael. This is great because this means folks can get a sample of, they can learn about PDFpen 9, they can get a sample of what Take Control writing is all about for absolutely nothing.
I think it works in a lot of ways. Smile does provide a lot of online help for PDFpen, and there are video tutorials they provide. But having this book as part of their arsenal now, it means that anybody who wants to find out what PDFpen is and does and how it works and hasn't bought it yet can actually find out for nothing. Plus, they have a free comprehensive manual for it when they do get it.
Yeah, and there still is something to be said for a manual type kind of thing. You know, It doesn't have to be quite the detail that a lot of the software vendors used to write up. But PDFpen itself is such a powerful program. There's so many things you can do with it beyond just what you would think you can do with it as a PDF editor that you really need a little bit of guidance to get the most out of it. But that said, this is fantastic. I love it for both Smile and for Take Control.
One thing I've noticed that looking at as more and more help and resources have gone online, help tends to break down into the very immediately, how do you do this, how do you do this, how do you do this, how do you do that, itemized lists, and it's very short capsule descriptions of all the things the software does. Companies will also provide resources that are broken down into individual tips here and there, a video on how to do this, a video on how to do that, a little tutorial on how to do this, and they're all in disparate, separate places. And, if you're a, industrious sort, you can pull together all the information you need from all these different sources to figure out how to use the software. But it's nice to have a single volume that has both how it works and provides a lot of tips and a lot of context for why you might want to do certain things or why this feature might be useful.
Yeah, that's something. Thank you for bringing it up that way, because that's something I think that some features, and I'm thinking about PDFpen, but also some other software, that you say, okay, it's got this great feature, and you look at it and say, okay, but how and when and where and why would I use it? And then as soon as somebody explains it to you, it's like, oh yeah, of course, now I have these 25 uses for it, but before I didn't really appreciate just why you would want to do something.
For example, the PDFpen 9 has a new feature. There's a sidebar that you can use for navigation and like that. But it has a lot of different guises, one of which it shows you all the annotations in your document, which is great. If you've gone through and marked up a book-length manuscript, you can go to the annotations you want. That's been around for a while. PDFpen 9 adds the ability to select and copy the annotations as text so you can paste them somewhere. So if, you have somebody doing a review of your manuscript on PDFpen 9, which we actually did and sent to the people at Smile so they could proofread and verify stuff. All of the tips, suggestions, and queries they had in annotations in the PDF, I was able to copy out in one fell swoop and paste into another document so that I could then go back to the manuscript and work with it. So knowing that you can copy the text to annotations is interesting, but there was a real-world reason for me to use that feature.
Right.
And I actually mentioned it in the book, so there you are.
Yeah, there's another feature, and I know it's not new to PDFpen 9, but where you can save an entire website as a PDF. And it took me a little while to figure out why I would want to do that. And then once I realized it, I used that multiple times, to accomplish different things. So, yeah, sometimes it is about the context of what a feature is, rather than just saying yes, it will make coffee. A lot of uses for coffee.
That's true. Actually, right now, looking at my screen, beside your image, which is lovely, I have another window open, which is a PDF that I created today. I opened up the manuscript of Take Control of PDFpen 9. It has a section called What's New in This Edition. PDFpen lets you use a rectangle tool to drag out a rectangle on a page as a selection. And you can turn that rectangle, extract it from the PDF, and turn it into a brand new PDF, which means that I was able to create a single page PDF which had just that what's new in this edition on it. So as I talk to you, if my eyes look over this way, I'm probably looking at the list of all the new features that are in that brand new PDF I created from the manuscript of the book using PDFpen.
So I haven't tried this feature yet. So it's not copying the text. It's actually copying the PDF image?
Yes, it's copying whatever is within the rectangle on that PDF and making a new PDF out of it.
Okay, which then you can still do OCR on and convert back to text.
Convert back to text. You can add more pages to it. You can stick it into another PDF. You can export it as an image. You can make a hat, a brooch, a pterodactyl.
All right. Calm down. Let's frame this just a little bit. You're not new to PDFpen and PDFpen Pro. You've been writing the books on this software for quite some time now.
I think this is my third or fourth time through it. I'd have to actually go back and check if my first one was Take Control PDFpen 5 or 6. I forget which. Now it's so far in the distant past, but yes, I've done this before.
Yeah. So let's talk about what's new in PDFpen 9 that prompted a whole new Take Control book, because I know there are a lot of new features in there. What are some of the ones that you think are most exciting?
Well, it depends. As you know, PDFpen comes in two flavors, PDFpen and PDFpen Pro. Some of the new features are only in PDFpen Pro. One of them has to do with creating tables of contents for a PDF, for a long PDF, like, say, a business report or what have you. You can create a table of contents that appears in the sidebar. There's a new tools added to it that you can, again, select and copy multiple items. You can move them around very quickly in that table of contents. If you have two PDFs that both have tables of contents and you merge them together, PDFpen Pro will combine their tables of contents for you. So that's one of the new features there.
Wow, that's nice.
That is nice. If you're doing a long form sort of thing, that's very nice.
Yeah, wow.
Some other new features, some are like little tiny grace notes that you really wouldn't they wouldn't really rise to the sort of thing that you can make a headline for in The Verge or something. But it's like dynamic guides. If you create like an imprint or you put an image on a page in a PDF, now as you move it around, you can have dynamic guides that will show you where it is relative to other objects and help you align things more carefully, very quickly and easily. If you need to export a PDF in an image format, PDFpen now provides the ability to export it as a TIFF, which it always could. But now you can do JPEGs and PNGs as well. And I suspect there will probably be an update at some point to export it also in the new HEIF image format that Apple will be releasing in High Sierra.
Right.
No, to be honest, nobody at Smile has said anything to me about that one way or the other, but I would be very shocked if they didn't try that at some point.
Yeah. The idea of those little features, I mean, they're things that can make such a big difference. We all do it. We all are saying, okay, wow, what's new in this update? And you're expecting, these 5 or 10 fantastic features. usually it boils down to, especially something that's in now, it's PDFpen 9. It's harder to find those really big features. So it's time to tweak things, polish them, refine them,
Yes.
make them even more useful. And that's what the folks at Smile are so good at doing. But they still throw in a big feature or two here just to keep you on your toes.
There's another few small things that I really like. There's a hand tool, to when you've zoomed in on a page, you do have scroll bars and, you can use the trackpad to move things around. But now there's a hand tool, which not only it makes it easier to do and is more like what you're used to in other applications, but you can use it to adjust the magnification very quickly and easily just by, holding down an option key and dragging. You can zoom in and out very, very quickly. Annotating something. If you know what it is you want to highlight, there's like a key phrase throughout the document. There's now a new Find and Highlight command where you can type in a search string and it will go to each one and let you assign a highlight color to it. So it's highlighted throughout the PDF exactly the way you wanted it, which is a nice touch and turns out to be quite useful if you're the sort of person who likes to mark up PDFs. And I kind of am.
Well, and anybody that's in business is probably, you don't mark up paper anymore. You mark up PDFs. I mean, it's so much easier to do. And forget the argument of saving paper. That's great too. But now you've got this thing marked up that can be passed around by email or in any other medium you want. And it's so much better, so much easier.
Any authors had to wrestle with physical galley proofs and marking them up when they come back from an editor. You have to write in the margins. You appreciate so much what a PDF will do for you in that context.
Yeah,
because I've straddled that transition. I've done old-fashioned galley proofs and electronic ones, and I'm much happier with the PDFs.
I don't overlook this, folks. I still live in a world where there's a lot done on paper, and sometimes for good reason. I want to be fair about it. Sometimes for good reason. Sometimes for absolutely no other reason than that's the way we've always done it, and that's the way we're always going to do it. And you end up shipping literally pounds of paper around, as opposed to sending a bunch of electrons across the web. It blows me away how difficult sometimes people still make things when something as mature and reliable as PDFpen 9 is sitting out there just waiting for them to use it.
Well, PDFs have been around for a long time now.
Yeah.
Oddly, I was looking at some dates, and the years like 1991, 1992 are kind of big because that's the year that JPEG came into existence. That's the year Apple released the first version of QuickTime, which brought us, a lot of online video, and in fact is the basis for MPEG-4 and even underlies the new image formats that Apple's introducing. It's also the year that PDFs became available. It's also the year the first electronic books came out. So the 91, 92 was like a big turning point in history. But that's where PDFs come from, that year.
Yeah, and I can't believe that far back, and we're still talking about this like it's something innovative, because it is. I mean,
it's a quarter of a century.
Yeah, as a matter of fact. But it is still something that can be refined, and that Smile can add new features that you really use, because it still feels like a new format to so many people in so many different industries.
I use it all the time. Every tax season, when my accountant sends me, the forms that I have to sign, I can sign them digitally and just email them back, No muss, no fuss, no waiting at the post office. It's great.
Yeah, and I think it's relatively recently that that a lot of financial institutions have started accepting digital signatures, as legally binding. And I know what it was like to go and buy a house, before PDFs versus after PDFs, and it was a disaster,
Well, and now there are like digital signing certificates that can authenticate So you have a whole lot more trust over something that's just written by hand. And PDFpen supports those digital authenticated signatures as well. So you can not only sign it with, your own scrawl, but there's also, a stamp that goes with it, a digital stamp that verifies you are who you say you are.
Yeah, and
that's
that's not a small consideration. Again, moving this forward, hopefully into a business world that will be more accepting of it. And I always look at from the business standpoint, but the personal standpoint too is, the personal, buying a house. You are interacting with that business world, and now you're doing so in a much more efficient manner, and frankly, a much more pleasant manner than having to go through sheafs and sheafs of paper to figure out where am I supposed to sign. That's no fun at all. What else do we have here, Michael?
Let's see. One interesting new feature. Again, it's a limited use, and most people won't need it, but when you need it bad, and that's the ability to number lines. If you have like a court transcript or something, where you actually have to refer to each line, you can select text in PDFpen and say number lines, and boom, line numbers appear by every line of text. You're done. It's there. So, again, not a huge feature, not something everybody's going to use, but it's great when you've got it.
Well, and for the legal industry, just what we were saying, that's going to make life a whole lot easier for the legal industry.
Oh, lawyers go through so much paper and they use so many PDFs. I'm sure that's a huge requirement, and adding into PDFpen is great. Speaking of annotations, and highlighting stuff in color, the PDFpen 9 adds new highlight colors. So I think there's like 8 of them now. There's 3 custom colors and the 5 that they always supplied. So, you got a lot of different ways to color your documents for annotations. Let's see, what are some of the other things? Some of the simple stuff is that used to be when something was sold through the Mac App Store, it had different capabilities than sold by Smile directly because Apple had certain requirements, certain restrictions. And now most of those have been lifted. So if you get PDFpen from the Smile store, you're not losing any features at all. You have complete access to iCloud, iCloud Drive, your library stored in iCloud, and like that. It's made purchasing it much easier. And you don't have to say, well, do I need to go to the App Store? Do I need to go to Smile? It's not that big a decision anymore. In fact, my general advice is if somebody has given you a gift certificate to the App Store, you can use it to buy PDFpen. If you don't have that gift certificate, you may as well buy it from Smile.
Yeah.
So, but that's about it. So that's a nice thing as well. There's a tool for putting URLs and page links inside of a PDF, where if you need to refer to another part of the document, you can jump there. Or if you have a URL that you want to jump to from the PDF, you can click on it and go there. They've combined that tool into a single tool. They used to be separate tools. Now they're not. And in addition, there's another kind of link you can add, which is a local file link to another PDF on your system. So if you have a PDF that refers to another PDF that you happen to have in a known location, you can put a link into the PDF there, and it will just jump you to that next PDF as well. So that's a new feature that's been added in.
And that the feature that you were saying that you can jump from one part of a PDF to another. I'm back to my buying the house example, where okay, sign here. Where else do I need to sign? Click this link, and I jump to the next place I need to sign. Now,
exactly.
Now, folks, I'm legal disclaimer. I'm not advocating that you skip everything in between. Read it, but it definitely makes it easier to figure out exactly where you need to go, and so you don't miss signing things.
It's cross-references, plain and simple, and it says, see page 47. Well, you now don't have to look for page 47. You click link and just jump there, and there you are.
It's kind of like you're a mini website, with hyperlinks.
Yeah. It's obviously essential to our Take Control books. Where there's an awful lot of cross-references in any Take Control book. See this section, see that section, see this paragraph. See that sidebar. The links are in the PDF that you buy when you buy a Take Control book. And so you don't have to flip through the pages or type a page number in or do a search. It's just there. But creating them inside a PDF is hard, but not with PDFpen. It's very easy with PDFpen.
Yeah. And I don't want to overlook some of the existing features, because there may be folks out there that are brand new to PDFpen and PDFpen Pro. The optical character recognition, so that if you get a PDF that is generated by the copier at your office, that comes across as an image, but the OCR capabilities will turn it into text that you can then manipulate.
And it's gotten better with each successive release. I did an OCR test on a document I have, which is a typewritten document from the late 90s that was typed on a typewriter with a dirty ribbon and dirty keys. So, and it scanned at a slight slant as well. And I like to test OCR software on it. And every time I do it with a new version of the PDFpen, it comes out better. It still makes certain mistakes because it's a really ugly document, but the accuracy has been astonishingly better each time. So, and PDFpen does allow you to actually correct the OCR layer.
Right.
So, with PDFpen Pro, you can get down to the individual word layer as well. It gives you even more correction capabilities. And that's, by the way, something that's really interesting about PDFs. When they first came out, it was designed to be a format that replicated what you would see on a printed page, which meant that it was frozen, inviolable. It was cast in virtual stone. But PDFpen lets you edit your PDF, so it can actually yank the text off of the PDF page and let you edit it, and then it sticks it back on in its corrected form, which is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want to, compose a whole book that way. But if you spot a typo, you can fix a typo.
Yeah, it's so much easier. And I know we've talked about this before, the ability to securely redact something so that if you want to take something out, you aren't just covering it up. You are taking it out.
And yes, and we can recall news stories, over the last decade, where documents were released with stuff redacted. And in fact, there was just a black bar over the text, but it was really easy to go into a piece of software and remove that black bar to see what was underneath. So a lot of stuff that was supposedly redacted was only redacted if you printed it. Yeah. But in fact, when PDFpen does its redactions, it does it slightly differently. And there's two versions of redaction. One is it lets you put a black box on top of the stuff that it redacts. And the other is just to completely remove it from the document and leave a blank hole. But even with the black box, the text underneath that box is done away with. It's gone. So the black box shows you where the redaction was and has actually removed the text. The other form of redaction just leaves a hole in the document so you can see the stuff was taken out that way. And you can also, if colors really matter to you that much, you can color those black boxes so they can be blue, green, red, purple, indigo, what have you.
Which, may be important. This may be one of those features. It's like, well, who cares? Okay, so the color may be important to you, or it may be that I do a first pass redaction in black, you do a second pass redaction in blue, somebody else does a third pass redaction in red. So that
or for other security reasons, you can say, well, names of people were redacted and they look like this. Important facts that we don't want to release to the public look like that.
Yeah.
You can actually classify them that way. It just gives you capability, and you don't realize you need it until you want to do something. You say, oh, I can use this feature that way. That's interesting.
Well, it's funny. Even though PDFs have been around so long, as we said before, you still do certain things on paper. And, so what do you do on paper? Well, you mark up documents. You strike through things. You make corrections. You make annotations that something needs to be changed here or there. It's so much easier with something like PDFpen and PDFpen Pro because you can do it all on screen and then pass that around to as many people as necessary.
And if you happen to pop for the version of PDFpen for iPad and iPhone, which is also compatible with PDFpen on the Mac, and you happen to have like an iPad Pro with, say, an Apple Pencil, there's a lot of markup you can do with that pencil very, very nicely. PDFpen will work very nicely with the Apple Pencil. But if all you have with is your finger and you're working on your iPad, you don't have to worry about smudging things up when you rest your finger on the screen, because it actually has a palm guard, so you can shield part of the document while you're tracing with your finger on another part. So it was really designed to do that well. PDFpen on the iPad and iPhone are actually quite usable and have a lot going for them. Again, when we sent the manuscript of this book to Smile and they marked it up and sent it back to me, I did some of my reviewing of what they did and some of my own reviewing of the manuscript, sitting on myself with PDFpen on my iPad, looking at the PDF of the manuscript that I was writing about. Yeah, I know it's a kind of recursive sort of thing, but what are you going to do?
Hey, it works. It's the way people really work. That's the thing. It's now the technology is adapting itself to you instead of you having to adapt yourself to the technology.
Exactly.
Speaking of the iPad and iPhone versions, does the book cover those as well in any depth?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Not in quite as extensive detail as the Mac app, but the final chapter of the book about iOS and PDFpen is the longest chapter in the book, and it covers quite a lot, including how to get things into and off of your iPad, where stuff gets stored. If you have stuff in Dropbox and you want to edit it on your iPad, how do you get it in? That sort of thing. And copiously illustrated, lots of screenshots. In fact, in this book, we wanted the screenshots to look really good. So even though a lot of them could have gone in unchanged from the last version, I reshot every single screenshot in this one to make them look sharper and crisper. So it just looks good. In fact, when I got the manuscript back from this Focus Smile, I said, wow, the screenshots look great.
Yeah, and that's another. It's those little things that make Take Control books special. They just look good. You want to read them. Any significant differences worth mentioning in PDFpen 9 versus PDFpen Pro 9 at this point, Michael, or is it pretty much the feature sets are kind of equivalent to the way it was with PDFpen and PDFpen Pro 8?
They're again, it's pretty much the same differential. Tables of contents, building them and making them and customizing them is a PDFpen Pro feature. Exporting a PDF as an Excel spreadsheet is a Pro feature. There's another feature for exporting it in a special PDF format for pre-publication like that. That's a Pro feature. So again, OCR correction. You've got more capability in PDFpen Pro than you do in PDFpen. You can still do correction in PDFpen, but Pro gives you more control over the OCR layer. And that's the way it's been for a while. If you need those features, it's well worth it. If you don't, PDFpen itself will be a pretty adequate, more than adequate piece of software to use. In fact, on my Mac, I generally made PDFpen my default application for opening up PDFs. I still, open up JPEGs and what have you with Preview, but if I double-click a PDF, it opens up in PDFpen.
Yeah, it's simple to do, and then you have all that power right there. You don't have to reopen it in PDFpen or PDFpen Pro. So, well,
again, and there are also little tiny features. There's been a feature for a while in PDFpen where you could put page numbers on the page only when you're viewing in a PDFpen, so you know what page you're on. Well, now they've updated the interface that way you can still do that, where you can put a little blue page number at the bottom right-hand or left-hand corner of the page. The title bar of the document window also tells you what page you're on as well. So it's just that much more convenient. So they've added a lot of little tiny, like I said, grace notes that make it easier to use the application than ever before. None of them rise to the level of headline news. But being in the application, you're going, gee, I'm glad that's there.
Yeah, it's the little things that when you want them, when you need them, and they're there, it makes all the difference between good software and great software.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, usually we would talk about the price, but we've already talked about the price, and that.
Yeah, it's free as in beer.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If you want it, you can get it. And to anyone who's not used PDFpen, like I said, if you want to find out what the software is all about, here's a whole book you can have for free that goes through all of the features with pictures and illustrations and tips for how to use it to really familiarize you with it before you ever decide to buy it.
Right. Or before you decide to upgrade from a previous version.
Right.
So.
Which, again, I would recommend you do if you can. The upgrade is pretty simple. And you can upgrade if you bought it from Smile, you can upgrade right from within the software because there's a menu item and the file menu, to upgrade from the older to the newer version. Yeah. Or from PDFpen to PDFpen Pro.
Exactly. So, well, obviously, it's at takecontrolbooks.com. That's where you can get it. But I think Smile's also giving it away on their website as well.
That's right. Well, yes. I don't know when they will start doing it because as we talk right now, my friend Joe, who now owns Take Control Books, is actually doing the final production of the book, which should be out this week. By the time you see this video, folks, it will be out. But I can't speak with any authority of where you'll find it on the Smile site yet because it's not out today. So,
but it'll be there soon, I'm sure.
It'll be there soon. Yes.
Because I know they've done this with your previous PDFpen books, and I think Text Expander books as well. So yeah, you'll be either go to smilesoftware.com or takecontrolbooks.com. Get it. It's not going to cost you anything. Maybe when you're at takecontrolbooks.com, pick up a couple extra books. When you're at Smile, check out some of the other software. Definitely worth your time.
And if you're only running PDFpen 8, you can get my book about PDFpen 8 as well for free because it's free now. So.
Oh, okay. So, gee, this episode doesn't cost
better and better.
Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, throw in a set of Ginsu knives in a minute, and
that's right.
I assume there are some other projects in the works, Michael. Is that a fair guess?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, if we can digress slightly, the last time we spoke, which was about a month and a half or so ago, it was because I just done a major update to my book on Apple's Pages.
Right.
And that was terrific. And then 3 weeks later, Apple released a big update to Pages, which makes about a quarter of my book a little bit out of date. So right now I'm back revising my revision to Take Control of Pages. So the second edition will now be 2.1 in about a month or so when I finish this. So that in a way is, on the one hand, it's painful because, I just did the update. Now I'm going to do one again. On the other hand, the revision that Apple made to Pages brings back a feature that's been missing for 3 years. Linked text boxes.
Oh, yes.
That was built into Pages, and it was great for making newsletters because you could have like a column of text and say continued on page 3, and you drag a line to page 3, and it flows the text into a box on that page, and that was great. And then Pages 5 came out, and that disappeared. And 5.1 came out, and it was gone. And 5.5 came out, and it was gone. And 6.0 came out, and it was gone. 6.1 came out, it still wasn't there. Then it reappeared in version 6.2. Completely re-implemented. It's a lot easier and a lot more powerful to use now. So Apple may have taken it away, but when they gave it back better. So I'm happy about stuff like that. So that's going to take some of the sting out of having to revise a book I just revised.
Well, and I'm delighted to hear it because now that means you'll be back here in another month or so to talk about the revision to that book, and along with anything else in between that just happens to, drift out.
Right. Plus, I can always open up the manuscript in PDFpen and mark up all the stuff I need to change.
Perfect. Michael, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the discussion and also for a new version of the Take Control of PDFpen book.
You're welcome. It's always fun to write these, and I always look forward to finishing them because I know, then I'll get to spend half an hour or so with Chuck. That's fun, too.
It's probably more fun to write the books.
You ever written a book, Chuck?
Yeah, good point.
You sit in front of the screen until little drops of blood appear on your forehead.
Okay. Wow. So there's blood, sweat, and tears that go into this book, folks. Go check it out.
Every single one.
Michael, we'll talk to you again soon.
All righty.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. Michael just left me with an image that I'm now trying to get out of my mind. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com, bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.